Tax season can be confusing and daunting for some Canadians who are unsure of how to file accurately. Here to help people debunk some tax myths, avoid common mistakes, and maximize their tax refunds is Jamie Monty, Chartered Professional Accountant and spokesperson for TurboTax. Jamie, tax season can bring on feelings of anxiety for a lot of people. So what are some of the key things that they can do to absolutely make sure that they're ready to file their taxes by the deadline?
It can sometimes feel like tax season has snuck up on you and you're scrambling to get your documents together, making sure you're not forgetting anything. And if you're not sure where to start, that's where having a tax checklist is important and is going to help you get your documents organized. TurboTax has a free tax checklist on their website that will help you tick off all of those documents that you know you need to have ready before you get to filing. You also want to keep in mind the deadlines as they are quickly approaching. First deadline to keep in mind is April 30th. That's the filing deadline for individuals. The second one to keep in mind is June 17th. That's the filing deadline for self-employed individuals. Keeping in mind, if you are self-employed, you still need to pay your taxes by that April 30th deadline. Another thing that you want to do is gather all of your slips for all of your different sources of income. Now, everybody has a different financial situation, so they might have different sources of income, but there are a few common categories to keep in mind. One is employment income, which you'll likely get a T4 slip for. Another one is retirement income. You might get a T4A or a T4 RSP slip for that. And an investment income is another one where you might get a T5 or a T3 slip. Making sure you get all those slips together and reporting them on your tax return is going to make sure that things are accurate and being calculated correctly.
What about Canadians who feel that every year they have fewer and fewer opportunities for tax breaks or benefits? What advice would you have for them?
Some may feel that way, but I think it's a common misconception because what I recommend doing is really taking the time to look at what credits and deductions that you could be eligible for and take advantage of this tax season to help you get your best outcome possible. Some common ones to keep in mind are the GST HST credit. This is a credit for low to moderate income families to help offset the cost of GST or HST that we pay on our everyday purchases. And it's paid out quarterly on a tax-free basis. All you have to do is file your tax return to be eligible to see if you're eligible to get this benefit. Another one is the Canada Carbon Rebate. This is also a tax-free payment. It was introduced to help offset federal pollution pricing. There's a basic amount, and then there's also a supplemental amount for those who are living in rural communities. This is something that you'll want to claim on your tax return as well. And if you're still having doubts about what credits and deductions you can claim, that's where using a digital tax solution like TurboTax can really help you out. TurboTax understands that a lot of the times the challenge comes with knowing which credits and deductions you're eligible for, and that could end up having you leaving money on the table. TurboTax can help you get your biggest refund possible every time.
Now, you've got one last important tip for people. What is it?
Make sure that you have your login credentials for your CRA My Account handy and you've tested them and you know that they work, because sometimes it takes a while to reset these login credentials, and your CRA My Account is where you can get important information like your notice of assessment from last year, your T-slips from this previous year as well, and it really helps speed up the filing process, so you don't want to be scrambling to reset that password at the 11th hour.
This CP24 Breakfast Business Report has been brought to you in part by TurboTax. Make your moves, we'll make them count.